Hey guys, what's up? I'm here today at my house because I'm boring. Anyway, we're going to talk about drones, alright? First up on our list of my little collection, of drones and FPV, alright? First off is my upgraded Parrot Bebop, alright? This is upgraded, alright? I mean, it's not stock at all, right? First time I had it, I crashed it, and when I crashed it, I was like, well, might as well make the frame better, right? So I put this steel cage on here. It doesn't make much of a weight difference, but it's a lot stronger than what it was. Second thing, I painted this nose cone black. And it doesn't affect anything, but I just like it because I can see it in the sky better, and I mean, who wouldn't like that? Alright? Next thing is the camera. This is a really big improvement. I was able to get an upgraded camera from a hobby shop. I'm not going to say where because it's not really good for them to sell these because it could hurt your drone, but it didn't mind. So this shoots 2.7K. Alright? So it's a real difference from the original Parrot Bebop that only shot about 1080p. But this is really good because it's 2.7K. I'd use this over a Phantom because it's so small. I can throw it in my backpack and be fine. What I use to control this, for the most part, I'll just use my phone because most drone videos are shot within 100 meters of the person flying it. So I don't need the big range of the sky controller that comes with it, which extends the range out really far to like a mile. I don't need that because one, the flight time couldn't even get it out to a mile and back. And two, I'm only really coming up real quick to follow me, and my phone or tablet could get this out far enough away from me. It goes out to about 120 meters with just the phone or tablet. Now with that being said, I do have a controller and a Wi-Fi extender for it that I'll use sometimes, but they're a little bigger. I use the Parrot FlyPad, which is their optional little controller for smaller drones, but it can work with this. And then I have a Xiaomi Mi Wi-Fi extender, which I will show you now. Alright, so here's the controller, just the standard Parrot FlyPad. They're about 30 bucks. The only reason I got it was to get more of a stick control feel. It doesn't have the little roll pad for up and down on your camera. What I programmed it to do is if I hit this button and I move the altitude stick up or down, that controls the camera. And it does make it a little bit shaky, but I can still move the camera up and down or side to side, but I can only do that from the phone. Alright, the next thing is the Wi-Fi extender. Okay, here's the Wi-Fi extender. It just plugs into any USB power source, and you have to go through an app. That's what most people don't say on the videos on how to do this, but you do have to download an app that's very confusing on how to set it up. That way it's only repeating this guy's Wi-Fi, not all the Wi-Fi around it. So you have to make sure you do that, but other than that, this extends the range almost to the sky controller. Alright, so that's that. Next drone, a Tiny Whoop. Now this, I built this myself. This is basically an Inductrix Pro FPV, but I have some different stuff. I have upgraded motors. So the motors that come with this are 17,000 kV. So kV on drones is kind of like horsepower. That's how I always related it. But the higher number of kV you have, the faster your motor spins and the better it works. But the higher kV you go, the better of a... Oh, hi. Go Aries. The higher kV you have, the more power you have, but you also have to have a better board. You can't have a 25,000 kV micro brush motor on a stock Inductrix board. It would burn out your electronic speed controllers. So I have the Inductrix Pro board on here with 22,000 kV motors, which is really good. And I have the little blue back thingy on there, and this thing doesn't affect its flight at all. It just, for me, I like it because it's blue. I didn't like the all black version. It didn't look very good. Other than that, yeah, the battery I used with it, this is important. I use these Tattoo 220 milliamp hour, one cell, 3.7 volt lipos, and they get it a lot of power. Alright, a lot of power. And that's it for this tiny drone. Now what it does do, it's not it. What it does do is pretty cool. If you're into drones, you already know what I'm going to say. If you're not into drones, I'll give you a really helpful insight here. This is an FPV drone. Alright, so that means this little camera here on the front transmits a signal. Now if you had an old analog television from like back in the 60s, you could pick up that signal, but nowadays TVs don't pick it up. But you could, in theory, pick it up on a TV, but all it does is sends out kind of a really loose color TV signal to any sort of receiver. And I have goggles, alright? And please, if you're ever talking to your friends, never call them a VR goggle drone. I cannot stand that, alright? It's an FPV goggle setup, so it's first person view. Now, I would be okay if you called it VR if the camera was like on a stick back here, because then that's actually a third person view. But when it's here, it's first person FPV, okay? But it is really neat. I'll get video from it at some point. I just don't have DVR or recording set up on my goggles yet. That'll be coming soon. Alright, so just one more quick thing about the Inductrix, the Tiny Whoop. That's what these little drones are called. The controller I use for it. Most people use a like $200 programmable transmitter for it, and that works fine. I was gonna get one, but then I was like, I want to be cheap today, so I bought this little $45 E-Flight transmitter, and I kind of went from there. I hooked this thing up into the computer, which you can do. There's a port to put your cable in and program it through Bebops. That's a drone programming system on your computer. I hooked it in there and did all the sorts of buttons and stuff programming on this transmitter. So what I have basically, you know, your throttle, yaw, pitch, roll. That's all the same sort of thing. But then here, this little toggle switch, if it's all the way up, the motors won't spin. That's just kind of, the drone is turned on, that's it. It won't fly. Then if I switch it one position down, that is armed angle mode. So the motors will spin, but only if you put that down, and then from there you can push up to give it throttle, and then everything is self-leveling. So if I put my stick forward and push the drone forward and let go, it'll come right back to level. The next mode, if I switch down, the motors are still armed. You can fly it now, but it's acro mode. So it's no stabilization, just like flying a real airplane. Here, if I push the stick forward, full, like all the way up, like that, it will send the drone flipping forward like that. That's how you get all your manual flips and stunts. So if I push it a little bit forward, like that, and the drone will start to go forward like that, alright? But then if I let go of the stick, it'll keep going forward until I give it an opposite command. It's kind of like the Newton's third law, I think, where every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Yeah, same thing. I push it forward, I have to pull it back some to make it stop. That's it. I will try to get footage from the screens on these two and show you. Might not be able to, but I'll try. If you're watching the video, you'll know because it will either have some really sketchy setup with a camera pointed at another screen, or you just won't see any footage and you'll have to wait until I get DVR. Alright?